This week, we are at Zitikeni Secondary School in Tembisa, a township that has a high prevalence of teenage pregnancies, according to the Education Department. We want to share the story of Masego Moketedi with learners here. Once a star pupil, Masego started giving birth in matric. Now she has 9 children at the age of 31. Later in the show, we try to track down the principal of a bogus school and receive a hostile reception.
Take this camera away. Take this camera.
This is Checkpoint, and I'm Nkepile Mabuse. She had her first child in her matric year and then proceeded to have 8 more in the next 12 years. But being a mother of 9 at the age of 31 was never her ambition. And after years of struggle, Masego Moketedi's life is now beginning a new chapter. Checkpoint producer Megan Lupka spent months trying to understand Masego's plight. In June, Checkpoint told the story of Masego Moketedi, whom at age 31 had 9 children ranging from 13 years to 9 months. Masego's mother, Regina, remembers the promise her daughter showed at school, but she dropped out because she fell pregnant.
Masego aya ko high school. Ka mokgo Masego na ale botlhale ka te. Le principal o ile anka Masego gore a ilo representa bana ba ba botlhale o ne a kena ko Thabo ko landlacht only to find that Masego o mo mmeleng ne ile ngwana o neng a le botlhale.
Masego says she considered abortion, but her boyfriend objected.
Then he said to me, "You can't make an abortion. That baby is my first child."
She left school to have her baby, determined to finish matric after the birth, but says she couldn't find a school that would accept a matric pupil.
They refused to take me. Then I gave up for school.
And the father of her child moved on.
So after 3 months, he disappeared with the other girlfriend.
So Masego found comfort in the arms of another man and had another child. She says the father of her second child was abusive, so she left him, then fell in love again and fell pregnant again.
I thought I found someone who will love me. He did everything for me, he did everything for my kids.
By the age of 20, she was pregnant with her 3rd child, and after having a blood test,
I found out that I'm HIV positive with my 3rd child. And by that time, I didn't tell the father because I was scared that he will run away. Yeah.
She turned to alcohol and fell pregnant again.
It took me time to accept that I'm HIV positive. And my mother used to ask me, "Masego, why are you drinking? Each and every day, why are you drinking?"
Once a star pupil at school, Masego was now doing very little thinking.
I never thought about contraceptives, and my mother used to tell me, "Masego, go and tell them to the clinic that you want a loop." I said, "No, I don't want loop. I don't want to prevent." I was like, I was always drunk. I never care what will happen to me.
Ke buile le Masego gagolo ka contraception. I kiso re nka e bea yang o tlhalosetsa ditori tsa gore he ke lo sterilizer he ke bukile he ba re o sterilizer o na le dijara tse kana gore o ne a bapala re ke re hide and seek ka kelello yaka
Her mother says she went to great lengths to seek ways to stop her daughter from falling pregnant. She even considered getting Masego sterilized without her knowledge. But she says social workers wouldn't allow it.
Social worker jare, hey, eo ke risky a se ntho re ka e kgonang re ka senyehelwa ke mosebetsi Masego ha ka find out gore re entseng ka ene o na le right a gore a ka re tshwarisa gore re entse so re mo sterilize ene a sa batle or a sa tsebe.
Masego had clearly stopped caring, and all she could focus on was finding a man to help her take care of her children. But her relationships ended in pregnancy and failure. Making matters worse was an error on Masego's ID, stating that she was a man. Because of it, she wasn't able to apply for child support. She became reliant on her already struggling family and devoted herself to her 9 children.
I just live for my kids. I don't think I do have a dream right now.
Despite having to compete for her attention, Masego's children clearly adore their mother.
Because it's so really clean. I want to shut down and I want to tell my kids to wheeling.
She's drummed the importance of education into their heads.
I am telling them each and every day. Please get us on a lane.
She's also determined to get herself sterilized. Up next, Megan accompanies Masego as she fights for her right to be sterilized.
DJ.
Later, we try to track down Credo Deo principal Simone Fourie. Our search was not without drama.
She's a criminal. We don't want anything to do with her.
You're with Checkpoint, and we're at Zitikeni Secondary School in Tembisa. We've just screened the first part of our documentary on Masego Moketedi. Let's get a sense of the impact Masego's story has had on learners so far.
Wow, it was quite interesting actually, because the things that we saw there are the things that we actually see every day. They're the things that we see but yet we never take into account, right? So when you see those things, you tend to realize that there's so many things that we as the youth are ignorant of.
You know, if a parent tells you not to have sex, if you have sex, you're out of my house. I mean, I won't have sex. My parent always tells me not to drink, not to go out on parties, not to have sex. And I do not do that because it's her house. At the end of the day, I need to obey her rules.
Well, the story is like touching, like based on teen, like I'm out, like man's mamela, like tina singama out, so like samesa up, Masego emotionally future my ufigile ama out, like I'm meetis and no tetabalega.
Alinda balega Masego ibhlungu because ibunisang in life.
My mother told me that I should abstain, not do sex at all, because she told me that immediately when you have it once, you'll always want to have it. So it's better not to have it at all.
Because siyakhuluma singama uthi umfithu ngibuya lapha now my uzuzitshela ukuthi azini one thing ngifuna ukukhuluma nabo ngibatshele ukuthi nami ngibuya lapha yabo into enjalo singabafana futhi.
So generally, is it easy to get sex?
Yeah, easy vele get sex there.
The national statistics are staggering. In 2012 alone, more than 50,000 learners attending school gave birth. 20,000 more were pregnant. Things changed a bit for Masego Moketedi after Checkpoint viewers heard of her plight. There were offers of assistance from all quarters, including clothing and school supplies for her 9 children.
Oh, ke tla rata o leboga batho ba Amnesty International ba nthusitse haholo mo nthong tsa bana tsa sekolo. And I would also like to thank Mogano's family from Pretoria. You have done so much for us and my kids are so happy.
Still making Masego particularly unhappy, however, was her identity document, which stood in the way of her children receiving social grants. But even Home Affairs came to the party, and Masego's ID book has finally been corrected. She's no longer registered as a man.
So it is now rectified. You are a female now. Sorry for that, no?
Ke tlo kgona ho etsetsa bana ba ka di-birth certificate ke kgona le ba ngodisa grant so ke kgona le etsa ntho tse ne ke batla ho di etsa maybe ho fetsa sekolo.
Before beginning the process of applying for state assistance for her children, Masego wanted to ensure that she would not give birth ever again. She says if she'd had more information on sterilization, she would have done this years ago.
Most of the clinics,
We wanted to test her assertion that the process of getting sterilized is nigh impossible for someone under the age of 40. So, armed with hidden cameras, we tried to get Masego an appointment. We started at Chris Hani Baragwanath Hospital. Not convinced, we insisted on seeing the doctor. Masego was rather abruptly told that there was a 3-year waiting list for sterilization and that she'd be in pain for 6 weeks. She was also advised against the procedure, despite telling staff that she couldn't make ends meet because of the burden of her 9 children. She was told to use birth control instead. So we tried Shawelo Clinic, where we'd heard they did sterilizations too.
She's got 9 kids and she wants to get sterilized, and the Embarra sent us here saying that they don't do sterilization. Okay.
Yes. But after a long wait, we're told there is only one doctor and that he's fully booked. We're advised to try Zola Clinic.
We want to make a booking for sterilization. I brought this lady here because she's got 9 kids. She is in desperate need.
Here we're told to come back the next morning to put our case to the doctor.
I don't know why they send you to Shawelo. How old are you?
31.
Huh? 31. And how many babies?
9.
What a deal. Yeah, September.
Masego's hopes are up. In total, Checkpoint had phoned and visited more than 30 clinics in Soweto in an attempt to get Masego sterilized. We asked Gauteng Health MEC Edane Mahlangu why the process should be such a mission.
One of the things that we need to try and correct is that antenatal services for women, including male circumcision in my view, those kind of basic services for helping the people must be rendered every day. As long as a clinic or hospital is open, a doctor or nurse, they cannot say no to you because that is your right. If our institutions, any one of them, has been refusing her, and I would like to investigate.
Other women have complained of a hostile response from state institutions when requesting information about sterilization.
So I think we need to do a lot of work in educating and empowering the patients with more knowledge.
As for this doctor,
I'm going to confront the doctor concerned and try and understand what is his rationale of not performing, of discouraging the patients in the first instance.
It's the morning Masego has been anxiously waiting for. Her gown and slippers are packed. A quick check on the kids who are fighting over school uniform. On this particular morning, Masego has a bigger concern, arriving at the clinic on time for her 7 a.m. appointment.
I feel so happy. Today ke letsatsi le leng hore ke lo sterilize ka lone and ngale ke le emetse letsatsi lena. Ko bane ko sepetlele ba ile ba nsokodisa ba gana on sterilizer, so I'm so happy.
Medical staff were courteous and gave Masego all the information she needed. After a urine test and then a local anesthetic, it was off to theatre. We were not allowed to film on a broadcast camera, so we observed on a cell phone. During sterilization, the fallopian tubes, which carry fertilized eggs to the uterus, are cut. It's a short procedure, but for Masego, a momentous one. The scope is inserted, the fallopian tubes clamped, and within a few minutes, Masego is recovering. 6 women were booked in to be sterilized at Zola Clinic that day, but Masego was the only one who pitched. The clinic seems under-resourced, with only 1 doctor and a nurse on hand to perform at least 30 sterilizations a month. The MEC says that it's not resources that are lacking, but the capacity to deploy them efficiently.
I think we can do more, and I'm committing to you that we will do more.
Masego is in pain after surgery and slightly disorientated from the anesthetic. But the discomfort, she says, is worth it. The next day, she was well enough to go to Home Affairs to sort out 9 birth certificates, a task that had been impossible in the past as she was legally registered as a man. Finally, her children are South African citizens.
Bana ba ka batla khona ho ngodisa ko sekolong hantle ka di birth certificate because of they used to ngodisa ka affidavit. So ke tlo khona le hore ke tsamaye ko ngodisa bana ba ka grant, then ke khone le bula bank account ka ba ke na le ID.
It's a huge relief for Masego's mother, Regina.
God is great. Today ke thabile ke leboga batho ba checkpoint le Megan motho o nkileng matsapa hore a lwanele hore bana ba ngwana ka ba thole di birth certificate. Stress sa ka bile se theohile.
Social Development has also stepped in to assist with the speedy processing of child support grants. Up next, in search of Simone.
Where is Simone, Mr. Fourie?
No comment, no comment, and don't ask me again, because you'll go down to the ground.
Earlier this year, we brought you the story of Credo Deo in Pretoria, where parents paid to receive a private school education and got very little in return. In fact, parents began to notice that they had been sold a lie. Here's an update by Checkpoint correspondent Sabelo Skiti.
I must say I felt I had failed my son, and I feel very angry.
It's like a bad school because children aren't learning.
An unregistered private school, unqualified staff, and a lack of equipment and textbooks, despite parents having paid upfront to give their children a quality education.
I asked my son what was happening at the school. He then indicated to me the previous grade 8 maths teacher has been removed to a higher class, and they had been assigned to a new teacher who, unfortunately, I learned was a security guard.
A 20-year-old matriculant was said to be teaching grade 12 maths. A teacher who worked there said she doubted the qualifications of many of the staff.
I could see that these people, something is wrong. None of them has got an educational background.
By all accounts, the school, called Credo Deo, which means trust in God, seemed to be a money-making racket, the brainchild of Principal Simone Fourie. The school is now closed down, the signs gone from the wall. Employee Bernadette Dixon was arrested for allegedly doctoring bank documents and conning a textbook company.
Why is she being arrested? I don't know, no comment.
The long arm of the law had already fingered Simone Fourie. She allegedly had a string of unpaid debts and has a previous fraud conviction. Checkpoint tried to find Simone to get her side of the story. We knew she'd been staying with her parents on Johannesburg's West Rand. A private detective hired by one of her creditors had seen her driving around in this yellow car, parked outside this house.
Mr. Fourie.
Checkpoint producer Sabelo Skiti was greeted by Simone's father, said to have been one of the directors of Credo Deo. He denied knowing his daughter's whereabouts. When he spotted our camera, he decided enough was enough.
Take this camera away. Take this camera.
Don't swear.
Ja.
Nou loop net in.
Nee, ek gaan nie.
She's in Pretoria.
Ma'am, I'm sorry.
But she's a criminal. We don't want anything to do with her.
Nee, nou praat jy nonsense. She's not a criminal.
But then if she's not a criminal, she must tell us what's going on.
No, there's nothing going on.
We want to ask her what's going on with the school.
There's nothing going on. So go and ask her in Pretoria.
You are also a director in the school.
I'm not a director, you stupid man.
I've seen documents from the school that have got your name on it.
You got my signature there.
I've seen documents with your name on it.
No.
So I'm giving you an opportunity.
You better now,
anything to do with
because I'm going to kill you.
Where is Simone, Mr.?
No comment. No comment. And don't ask me again, because you'll go down to the ground.
Don't threaten me.
Go.
I'll threaten you.
Don't threaten me.
Johnny, wil jy op kamera hulle gaan alles wys?
Hulle wys vir jou.
Ja, nou maar los man. Ek sal nie.
Sy is 'n
Wie is hierdie koerant mense?
Sy is 'n krimineel, hoor? Sy is 'n krimineel.
O, dit is 'n groot ding wat jy nou doen.
Sy is 'n krimineel.
Jy. Nou moet jy baie vinnig hier in. So, you better take that camera to Pretoria and go and have a look where Simone is, okay?
We eventually found Simone, who appeared in the Hillbrow Magistrates Court in early September on a charge of fraud. Producer Mosabudi Ratlepjani tried to find out her side of the story.
Qualified principal? No comment. Was it a registered school? Yes.
Also in court was Simone's colleague, Bernadette Dixon, who didn't have much to say either.
What do you think I get out of this, huh?
I don't know.
Do you think my life is easy, huh?
That's all from us this week. Please do give us your feedback. Our Twitter handle is @checkpoint_eNCA. Thanks for watching. I'm Ngepile Mabuse.